March Machines is just around the corner, and today we'll be going through the top 5 black cards from March Machines for Standard. What's going to be number 1? What are the best cards to play? Well, we're going to find out right now. Coming number 5, we have the Invasion of Fiora. So this is one of the sieges. This is a 6 mana siege. So it costs 6 mana. Sieges are new. They're quite interesting. We're going to see how it goes. When it's the battlefield, you get to choose one or both. You get to destroy all legendary creatures or destroy all non-legendary creatures. There's a 6 mana board sweeper. It could be a one-sided board sweeper, depending on what you're playing against. If you're playing Esper Legends, you have a bunch of Legends out, you can kill all your opponent's creatures, right? This is pretty good. I actually like this. Or if you're playing against Esper Legends, this is fantastic. This is a really, really good board sweeper. It does have basically 4 health, as it were. That 4 in the corner basically means you have to deal 4 damage to it, and then it transforms. So we'll check the other side. When the siege flips, it flips into Marchesa, Resolute Monarch. So it's a 3/6 with Menace and Death Touch. Pretty decent stats right there. Whenever it attacks, you get to remove all counters for up to 1 target permanent. That means you can deal with Incubator tokens. You can deal with Planeswalkers. Completely take them out, which is very, very strong. This is pretty good. You can even just remove all the counters from a Wreck and a Bankbuster. You know, that's pretty good going as well. And then also you have at the beginning of your upkeep, if you haven't been dealt combat damage since your last turn, you get to draw a card and lose 1 life. So you basically have the Monarch ability, right? This is actually a pretty good card. I really rate this. I think you can do some really cool stuff with the siege. Basically doing that one-sided board sweeper or just wiping the board, and then you get to have this awesome creature as well, which can give you some card advantage and be awkward for your opponent to try and block. So pretty decent. Coming number 4, we have the Hoarding Broodlord. So this is a big dragon, okay? This is 8 mana. I know, very expensive, right? 5 colorless, triple black, but it has Convoke, so you can tap a bunch of creatures to get this out sooner. This is a 7/6 fly. And when it enters the battlefield, you get to search a library for a card, exile it face down, and then you get to cast that spell, and then for as long as that card remains in exile, you may play it. Pretty cool, right? Those you cast from exile have Convoke. So basically, it has a built-in tutor effect. It is a big body, really tough, you know, and you get to convoke that spell you grab. You know, really, really useful. You can actually get this out pretty early. You know, if you've got a mono black aggro deck, you can kind of get this out early, but it doesn't have to be mono black, right? You can tap a bunch of tokens, wedding announcements, and things like that. So this could see play. There is a ton of help for dragons in this set, so you could play this in a really cool dragon style list as well. So I do really like this, and yeah, a really cool black creature, really nice dragon actually, allows you to have a really cool tutor effect. Next we have Pylon, which I think is going to be a really good removal spell. 3 colors, 1 black, has Convoke, which is good. Then you can destroy target creature or Planeswalker, and then you get to Surveil too. You may be thinking, wow, that's expensive. 4 mana, you know, we can do that maybe for 3 mana. Well, Convoke makes it a lot cheaper, and Surveil's really, really useful. You know, being able to Surveil helps smooth out those draws. Maybe put something you want into your graveyard. Very, very useful, and I do like that. Convoke makes things so much better. It makes things so much better, and it makes things basically no matter if you have a bunch of stuff out. So yeah, this is a really good removal spell. You could tap out, you can play a bunch of stuff, and then you can just Convoke at the end of their turn, remove something. Very, very useful. Loads of potential play on this. I don't think you'll see a ton of copies, but you could see a couple of copies in black X decks, whether it be Grixis, mono black, black white, anything like that. I do feel like you're going to see this removal spell because it does deal with any creatures and any planeswalkers, which I think is very, very useful. Coming number 2, we have the Invasion of Strad, another siege, 4 mana this time, has flash. When it ends the battlefield, target creature opponent controller gets -13/-13 to the end of turn, which is pretty brutal. Now this allows you to just kill something. It is 4 mana, so it's quite pricey. It does come into play with 5 damage counters you then need to move. Then on the back side of the Invasion of Innistrad, you get this enchantment. When it ends the battlefield, you get to make 2/2/2 zombies, right? Which is pretty cool, right? You get some blockers or attackers. You get to pay 3 mana, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you get to make a zombie token. This is actually really good. There's a lot of cards in Standard that care about the graveyard. If people want to try and reanimate Atraxa, people want to try and reanimate Portal to Phyrexia, whatever it may be, Time of Industry, you can interact with their graveyard, which is incredibly strong. Maybe even get rid of a Memory Deluge, whatever it may be. You can constantly get a stream of tokens out, which is actually pretty decent, and especially grindy games. I quite like this. You know, I do really rate this. And right now, there's not a great amount of stuff that can deal with tokens, and it's looking like that's still going to be the case. This is going to be a really, really good card to transform into in that really grindy matchups. Coming to number 1 now, we have Sheoldred. Sheoldred is an absolute powerhouse. Really, I think it's probably one of the strongest out of the Predators. Once again. So we did with Sheoldred before, now we're going to deal with another one. So 5 mana for a 4/5 menace. Doesn't have Death Touch this time. Is 1 mana more expensive, although you could literally just go Sheoldred. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature or planeswalker. Very, very crucial that it's non-token. Doesn't mean they're going to get rid of their, crappy 1/1s or anything like that. It means they're going to get rid of something quite relevant. And on top of that, planeswalker. Very, very cool. Then you can pay 5 mana to exile it. You can only do that if an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. So you kind of want the game to be that mid to late game. I'm not being funny. You're playing black. You're probably going to put a lot of stuff in their graveyard from killing stuff anyway. And not only that, this is still a mid to late game card at 5 mana and above. So it's probably going to be the hardest bit to get. Then Sheoldred transforms into the True Scriptures. This is a really, really good saga. For each opponent, destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker they control. So not only have you just made them sacrifice, but then you can then get to destroy something. Very, very cool. Then the second one is each opponent discards 3 cards and then mills 3 cards. Yeah, that's really strong. Discarding 3 cards is back-breaking for an opponent. Absolutely back-breaking. So yeah, it doesn't matter what they're playing, it's really, really good. And then you mill them for 3 cards, which kind of means that, you're still fueling their graveyard, which means you get to flip Sheoldred again. And then the third one is you get to put all creature cards from all graveyards under the battlefield under your control. I mean, if you're playing against a grindy matchup, or you're playing against, a mid-range matchup, or just a creature deck, that's game ending. Being able to bring back stuff from your opponent. Yeah, I can see quite a lot of opponents hitting that concede button when you get to the third mode of this saga, because it is very strong. And then guess what? It flips back to Sheoldred. This card's really good. Really, really good. I'm excited to play it. Has a home in so many decks. Very, very strong right there. There you have, guys. Those are my 5 top picks for black cards in Martial Machines full standard. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what are your picks for black cards? I think Sheoldred is an absolute powerhouse. Really good sieges to see what's going to be used in black. I really do rate that. And just good removal across the board. Black is very strong in standard right now, and I can see it still being the case coming into Martial Machines, because it is so, so strong right now. I'm really excited to use the new Sheoldred and the new cards. So yeah, if you want to see my top 5 best blue cards from Martial Machines for standard, make sure to click on this video right here. If you watch more Magic content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, that is it from me in this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.